She received an envelope from her father-in-law with a note that read, "Don't open this in front of my son. Open it alone and call me." Inside were photos. Photos of her husband with another woman. Her hands shook as she called him. He answered in tears, whispering, "I warned him to stop, but—" "Hi, my beautiful family. Welcome back to Mr. Peter Stories, your own family story channel. Heavenly God, I lift every woman into your loving hands. Cover her with strength when she feels tired, with peace when life is heavy, and with honor that no one can take from her. She is the heart of the home, the quiet courage behind every victory, the love that holds generations together. Bless her health, protect her spirit, and reward her sacrifices with joy she never expected. Pour grace into our families, heal what is hurting, restore what is broken, and unite us with understanding and patience. Let our homes be safe places, our words be gentle, and our love be lasting. May hope rise every morning, faith stand firm in every storm, and kindness lead every step. If your heart is true, like the video. If your love is real, write, 'I am with Mr. Peter.'" Josie Sophia stared at the cream-colored package on her kitchen counter, her name written in Ben Sandler's distinctive handwriting. Her father-in-law had dropped it off 30 minutes ago, eyes red and swollen, hands trembling. He'd grabbed her hands, squeezed hard, and whispered 6 words that made her stomach drop. "Don't open this in front of Adam." Now, alone in her pristine kitchen with afternoon sunlight streaming through the windows, Josie picked up the envelope. Her 3-year-old daughter Maya was napping upstairs. Adam was at work, probably laughing with colleagues, probably texting someone, probably living his perfect lie. She tore it open. The first photograph slid out, and her world ended. Adam, her husband of 5 years, the man who'd held her hand through Maya's difficult birth, the man who kissed her forehead every morning, the man she'd trusted completely. He was kissing another woman. Josie's hands shook as more photos spilled onto the counter. Adam's hand on the woman's waist, Adam laughing at a restaurant, Adam walking into a hotel, fingers intertwined with hers. The woman's face became clearer, and when recognition hit, Josie gasped. Vanessa, her former college roommate, her friend who'd stayed at their house last Christmas. The woman Josie had helped through bankruptcy, lending her $5,000, never repaid. Vanessa had sat at their table, held Maya, looked Josie in the eyes, and smiled while keeping this secret. The note from Ben was brief, handwriting shaking. "I caught them at the lake house last weekend, told him to end it immediately. He promised. Then I saw them together yesterday. I can't watch him destroy you anymore. I'm so sorry. Call me when ready. I'm here for whatever you need." Josie sat down hard on the kitchen floor, photos scattered around her like broken pieces of her shattered life. She should cry, should scream, should throw things and call Adam demanding answers. Instead, a strange calm settled over her, cold, hard, impenetrable. She'd trusted Adam completely, never once doubted his love. Had made herself vulnerable in every way because she believed in him, believed in their marriage, believed in the life they were building together. Every late night at work she'd accepted without question. Every business trip she'd supported. Every time he'd come home smelling different, acting different, she'd pushed down her instincts and chosen trust over suspicion. She'd been a fool. She pulled out her phone and dialed Ben. He answered on the first ring. "Josie," his voice cracked. "I'm so sorry. I didn't want to believe it at first. I thought maybe once, a mistake. But I saw messages on his phone when he left it at my house. It's been going on for months, over a year. I told him he was being a fool, throwing away everything, but he kept making excuses." "How long have you known?" 3 months. I kept hoping he'd do the right thing, kept giving him chances to confess, to end it before it destroyed your marriage. But he just got better at lying." Ben's breath hitched. "You're like a daughter to me, Josie. My wife Sarah loved you. She'd be ashamed of him right now. I'm ashamed." Josie looked at the photos spread across her floor. "Where are you?" "Home. Do you want me to come over?" "No, I'll come to you. Give me 20 minutes. Don't call Adam. Don't tell him anything." "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking your son made the biggest mistake of his life." Josie's voice was ice. And he's going to pay for it in ways he can't imagine. Josie, if you need time alone... Ben. She cut him off. Are you with me or with him? Silence stretched. Then Ben said words that changed everything. I'm with you, always. He's my son, but you're the daughter I wanted. What he did to you, to Maya, it's unforgivable. I'll help you however I can. Josie felt something shift. Not grief, not anger. Something colder and more powerful. Then we have work to do. I'll be there soon. She called her neighbor, Mrs. Patterson. Within 10 minutes, Maya was next door having cookies, unaware her world was about to shatter. Josie drove to Ben's house in silence, the envelope on her passenger seat. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She felt detached, watching herself from outside, a woman whose life had been gutted but refused to fall apart. Ben opened the door before she knocked. His eyes were devastated, face aged years since that morning. He'd always been handsome, tall, distinguished, silver hair. Adam looked just like him physically, but their characters were nothing alike. Come in. Ben stepped aside. His living room was exactly as when Sarah was alive. Family photos everywhere, comfortable furniture, the warmth Sarah had created during 40 years of marriage. Josie had always loved this house, loved Ben and Sarah, who'd welcomed her when Adam brought her home 7 years ago. Sarah had died from cancer before Josie and Adam married. She'd lived to see them engaged, told Josie she was the daughter she'd wished for. Ben had walked Josie down the aisle since her own father abandoned the family when she was 12. Now, sitting in Sarah's favorite chair, Josie realized Ben was the only real father she'd had. Tell me everything, she said. Ben sat across from her, hands clasped tight. I went to the lake house 3 weekends ago. Adam said he was fishing. I decided to surprise him with photo albums I'd found. When I got there, Vanessa's car was in the driveway. I recognized it from Christmas. Josie's jaw tightened. I heard them laughing inside. I looked through the window and saw them together, really together. Ben's voice broke. I confronted him immediately. He was horrified, begged me not to tell you, said it was a mistake, swore he'd end it. I told him he had 1 week to confess or I would. But he didn't. No. Called 2 days later, said it was over, begged me not to destroy his marriage. I wanted to believe him. Ben's hands shook. Then last week I saw them at a restaurant. I followed them to a hotel. Took these photos. I couldn't lie to myself anymore. Josie processed this with eerie calm. How long has it been going on? From messages I saw, at least 18 months, maybe longer. 18 months. During her difficult pregnancy on bed rest, through Maya's birth, through her mother's surgery. Every moment she'd needed Adam most, he'd been with Vanessa. Who else knows? Ben shifted uncomfortably. His friends. I heard him with Marcus once, talking about covering for each other. Several friends have been helping him hide it. The betrayal multiplied. Not just Adam and Vanessa. An entire network who'd looked Josie in the eyes and smiled. Ben, I need honesty. If I decide to make Adam pay, really pay, will you help me? Or choose your son? Ben met her eyes. Sarah used to say being a good parent means teaching that actions have consequences. Adam never learned that lesson. Maybe because we gave too much. Maybe I was too soft after Sarah died. But he needs to learn now, even if it breaks my heart. He took her hands. You remind me of Sarah. Strong. Honest. Adam had the blessing of having you, and he threw it away. I choose you, Josie. I choose what's right. I choose my granddaughter having a mother who isn't broken. Josie felt tears threaten. I loved him so much. I know. And he doesn't deserve that love. But you'll survive this. We'll make sure of it. Whatever you need, you have it. Josie wiped her eyes and straightened. The vulnerability passed. In its place came something harder, sharper. Here's what we do, she said. We don't confront him yet. We let him think everything's fine. While he's comfortable, you and I gather every piece of evidence, every receipt, every message, every moment documented. Ben nodded slowly. For the divorce. To destroy him completely. He betrayed our daughter. He betrayed you. He betrayed everyone who trusted him. When I'm done, everyone will know exactly what kind of man Adam Sandler is." Ben looked at her, then slowly smiled. Not happy, not kind. The smile of a man who'd found an ally in a battle he was prepared to win. "Let's get to work. I'll show you what I've gathered." They spent hours going through evidence, credit card statements showing hotel charges, restaurant receipts, text screenshots Ben had photographed from Adam's phone, a timeline that made Josie sick with its calculated precision. There were also messages between Adam and his friends, Marcus providing alibis, telling Adam about his own affairs, James Chen, Adam's mentor at work, actually encouraging the affair, telling Adam that successful men have side pieces, Daniel covering for Adam at work events, pretending business trips were legitimate when they were really romantic getaways. Each message, each receipt, each piece of evidence was another nail in Adam's coffin, and Josie hammered every single one in with cold satisfaction. By the time she left, the sun was setting in violent reds that looked like fire. She had copies of everything on USB drives, one hidden in her purse, one Ben kept. She had a plan forming, and she had something unexpected, an ally, a partner, a father who valued her more than his son's comfort. She picked up Maya, thanked Mrs. Patterson with a convincing smile. At home, she started dinner, bathed Maya, read bedtime stories. Her daughter fell asleep clutching her stuffed rabbit, innocent and safe in a world that was about to change. Adam arrived at 7:30. "Hey, beautiful." He kissed her cheek. The touch felt like poison. "Something smells amazing. That pasta I love?" "Saved you a plate." Josie smiled. "Academy Award worthy." "How was work?" "Long day. Johnson's being impossible." Adam grabbed a beer. "How's Maya?" "Perfect. She asked about the zoo this weekend." "Sounds great." He wrapped arms around her waist. His touch made her skin crawl. "Have I told you how lucky I am?" Josie looked at his hands, the same hands that had touched Vanessa, the same hands that had betrayed every vow. "No," she said softly, turning, "but you can show me." She kissed him, the performance of her life. Adam kissed back, completely unaware the woman he'd betrayed had just declared war. A war he'd already lost. Chapter 2. The Alliance. The diner was 40 minutes outside the city, far enough that no one would see them. Josie slid into the booth across from Ben, who had coffee waiting. It was early morning, barely past 7. She'd told Adam she had a doctor's appointment, dropped Maya at daycare, driven straight here. Ben looked like he hadn't slept. Silver hair uncombed, eyes hollow. Josie suspected she looked the same. 3 nights lying beside Adam, pretending everything was fine while rage burned through her veins. "I brought more evidence." Ben pushed a folder across. "Old files from my office. Adam used my credit card last year when his maxed out. I never looked closely at the charges, but I did last night." Josie opened it. Hotel charges from 8 months ago. A jewelry purchase she'd never received. Restaurant bills on nights Adam claimed he was working late. "He's been lying so long," she whispered. "I know." Ben's voice was rough. "I keep asking where I went wrong as a father. Sarah would be heartbroken. She loved you from the moment Adam brought you home. Said you were too good for him, that he'd better not mess it up." He laughed bitterly. She was right. Josie traced the folder edge. "Tell me about her. I only knew Sarah 2 years before she passed." Ben's eyes softened. "Sarah was fire and grace wrapped together. Didn't take nonsense from anyone. When Adam was 16, he cheated on a test, got caught, tried blaming another student. Sarah made him confess in front of the whole class, said integrity mattered more than grades, that a man who couldn't own mistakes would never be a real man. He didn't learn. No. After she died, I was lost, drowning in grief. I let Adam get away with things I shouldn't have. Made excuses. Thought I was being understanding, but I was teaching him he could avoid consequences if he was sad enough." Ben met her eyes. "I failed him as a father, but I won't fail you." The waitress refilled coffee, left without comment. The diner was nearly empty. Josie pulled out her folder. I've been gathering evidence too. Went through his laptop while he slept. Found emails between him and Vanessa going back 20 months. He told her he loved her. Said he was planning to leave me eventually. Just needed time. Ben's face went pale. Josie, there's more. His friend Marcus has been helping hide the affair, providing alibis. Group messages with 4 friends where they joke about me being clueless. Call me the wife like I'm some obstacle to manage. Ben's hands clenched. I know Marcus. Helped him get his first job. And James Chen, Adam's mentor, always so kind at parties. Josie's smile was razor sharp. He encouraged the affair, told Adam he deserved to have fun, that marriage was about managing expectations, not happiness. These men watched my son destroy his family and cheered him on. They're all guilty. Adam didn't do this alone. He had help, support, a network enabling his betrayal. Josie leaned forward. When I'm done, Ben, they're all going to face consequences. Ben studied her. You've changed. In just days. No, I'm finally seeing clearly. I spent 5 years being the woman Adam wanted, accommodating, understanding, forgiving his failures because I loved him. I made myself smaller so he could feel bigger, while he betrayed me in the worst way. She met his eyes. I'm done being small. Adam's going to learn what happens when you betray a strong woman. Ben reached across, covered her hand. Sarah would be so proud of you. They spent the next hour planning. Ben knew Adam's schedule, routines, weaknesses. Josie knew passwords, contacts, secrets. Together, they were formidable. The party, Ben said suddenly. My birthday is in 2 weeks. I always have that family dinner. What if we use that? Josie's eyes lit up. Go on. What if you threw me a surprise party? Invite everyone. Adam's friends, colleagues, Vanessa. Let Adam think everything's normal. Let him sweat seeing everyone together. Plant seeds of paranoia. Make him wonder who knows, who's watching. Psychological warfare, but we don't expose him yet. Just make him uncomfortable. Let him stew in guilt and fear. Exactly. While he's distracted, we continue gathering evidence. By the time we confront him, we'll have everything to bury him. They refined the plan with military precision. Josie would play devoted wife. Ben would play supportive father. Adam would suspect nothing until too late. As they prepared to leave, Ben caught her arm. When this is over, when dust settles, you're still family, you and Maya. Whatever happens with Adam, that doesn't change. You're my daughter now, not daughter-in-law, just daughter. Josie's eyes filled with tears. You're more of a father than my biological one ever was. Then let me teach my son the lesson I should have taught years ago. That actions have consequences. That betrayal has a price. That some things once broken can never be fixed. They walked out together, allies in a war Adam didn't know had started. Over the next 2 weeks, Josie became an actress. She cooked Adam's favorites, laughed at his jokes, made love with passion that confused him, made him guilty, made him nervous. She saw fear growing in his eyes, paranoia that something was wrong even though everything seemed right. Good. Let him worry. She met Ben 3 more times at the diner. They compiled evidence obsessively. Every text, every receipt, every lie documented. Ben brought financial records showing Adam took money from savings for hotels. Josie found emails proving Vanessa knew about Maya, knew Josie was pregnant, didn't care. She's as guilty as he is, Josie said, staring at an email where Vanessa joked about being the other woman. What do you want to do about her? Josie's smile was cold. Vanessa's going to pay too. But first, let's deal with my husband. Party day arrived. Josie had planned everything. Invitations to Adam's entire circle. Catering, decorations. She'd told Adam it was small family dinner, but invited 40 people. Adam came home to find her in a stunning red dress, makeup perfect. Wow, you look amazing. He kissed her. Dad's going to love this. Only the best for Ben. He's been such a wonderful father-in-law, such a man of integrity. Adam's smile faltered. Yeah, he's great. They drove to Ben's house, Maya chattering in back. When they walked in, the house was full. "Surprise!" everyone shouted. Adam's face went white. He was staring at Vanessa, frozen by the door, clearly not expecting to see him with wife and child. Marcus was there, avoiding eye contact. James Chen looked uncomfortable. Everyone who knew about the affair was in one room. Adam's hand found Josie's, gripping tight. She squeezed back, smiled up at him. "Isn't this wonderful? All of Ben's favorite people together." Ben appeared, hugging Josie warmly, shaking Adam's hand with a grip that made him wince. "Thank you for this. You're always so thoughtful." Adam's eyes darted between his father and wife, trying to understand. Did they know? Was this a trap? But everyone was smiling, laughing, except it wasn't normal. And Adam could feel it. Josie worked the room like a politician. She hugged Vanessa, who looked sick. "It's been too long. We need lunch soon." She chatted with Marcus's wife, complimented her dress. She laughed with James Chen, and Adam watched, growing more paranoid by the minute. Finally, Josie tapped her wine glass. The room quieted. "I wanted to say words about Ben. In 5 years in this family, he's taught me so much. About loyalty, integrity, standing up for what's right, even when it's hard, even when it costs you something precious." She met Ben's eyes. He nodded. Ben is the kind of man who chooses truth over comfort, who values honesty above all, who would rather lose something he loves than live a lie. Josie turned to Adam. "He's taught me that real love means holding people accountable. That family means calling out wrong when you see it. That being good sometimes means making difficult choices." Adam had gone pale. Vanessa stared at the floor. "So here's to Ben Sandler, the most honorable man I know. Happy birthday, Dad." Everyone drank, everyone cheered, but Adam's hand shook, setting down his glass. The party continued 2 more hours. Josie and Ben mingled while Adam stood rigid. Vanessa left early. Marcus avoided Adam. The men who'd helped hide the affair were suddenly distant, cold. When it ended, Adam practically ran to the car. Josie took her time saying goodbye to Ben, hugging him tight. "Round 1 complete," she whispered. "Perfect execution," Ben whispered back. "He's terrified." The drive home was silent. Maya fell asleep fast. Adam's knuckles were white on the wheel. "That was a nice party," Josie said casually. "Yeah." Ben seemed happy. "Mm-hmm. Did you notice Vanessa left early? I hope she's okay. I should call tomorrow." Adam's hands tightened. "Maybe give her space." "Why?" Josie turned all innocent. "She's my friend." Adam said nothing, but Josie could hear his mind racing, trying to figure out how much she knew. That night, after Maya was in bed, Adam tried to initiate intimacy. Josie let him, performed the loving wife while internally calculating her next move. Afterward, as he fell asleep, she stared at the ceiling, thinking about the USB drive hidden in her car, about Ben, her ally, about the long game they were playing. Adam thought tonight was stressful. He had no idea. The real destruction hadn't even started yet. Chapter 3. The Performance. Josie stood in her bathroom mirror, applying final makeup touches with steady hands. 2 weeks since Ben's party. 2 weeks watching Adam spiral into paranoia while maintaining her performance as the perfect, oblivious wife. He was cracking. She saw it in how he startled when his phone rang, how he checked over his shoulder constantly, how he'd stopped meeting her eyes more than seconds. Good. Her phone buzzed. Ben texted, "He called last night, asked if something was wrong, if I was upset. I said everything was fine. He didn't believe me." Josie smiled at her reflection. The woman staring back was barely recognizable from the devastated wife a month ago. This woman was sharper, harder, infinitely more dangerous. She typed back, "Let him squirm. Phase 2 tonight." Tonight was their weekly dinner with Adam's colleagues, a tradition they'd maintained 2 years, rotating houses. This week, their turn. Josie had invited everyone, including James Chen, Adam's mentor who'd encouraged the affair. She'd also invited new couples, the Johnsons, whose house was being renovated, and Daniel's new girlfriend Sarah, who Adam had never met. What Adam didn't know was Sarah was Ben's niece, a psychology PhD student who'd agreed to help after learning what Adam did to Josie. She'd play a role tonight, armed with information to push Adam closer to the edge. "Mommy, I helped set the table." Maya ran in, dressed slightly crooked but smile perfect. "You did such a good job, baby." Josie bent down, straightening Maya's dress. "Tonight you get dinner in your room with cartoons, okay? Grown-ups are having boring work talk. Can I have ice cream? 2 scoops, because you're the best helper." Downstairs, Adam was panicking in the kitchen. "The chicken looks dry. Did you overcook it?" He pulled dishes out, stressed and irritable. "It's perfect, you're just nervous." Josie took the pan calmly. "Why are you nervous? It's just dinner with friends." "I'm not nervous. I just want everything perfect." "Since when do you care about dinner parties?" Adam's jaw tightened. "I just want everything to go well." The doorbell rang. Showtime. Over 30 minutes, their house filled. Daniel and his girlfriend Sarah arrived first. Adam greeted them with stiff politeness. The Johnsons came next, grateful for the invitation. Then James Chen, and Josie watched Adam's shoulders tense. "James!" Josie hugged him warmly. "I wanted to talk to you tonight about something important." James's smile faltered. "Oh?" "Yes. I've been thinking about career moves. You're such a successful mentor. I'd love your advice on how to build real integrity in business, how to be the kind of person people trust completely." Behind her, Adam made a strangled sound. Dinner started innocuously. Wine flowed, conversation buzzed. Josie played hostess with grace, keeping glasses full, conversation flowing. But she'd orchestrated seating carefully. Daniel's girlfriend Sarah sat across from Adam, James Chen beside him. Josie took the head where she could see everything. "So Sarah," Josie said during the main course, "Daniel mentioned you're studying psychology. What's your focus?" Sarah, briefed extensively by Ben, smiled. "Behavioral patterns in relationships, specifically how people rationalize betrayal and deception." Adam choked on his wine. "Fascinating. Tell us more." Sarah leaned forward. "My research focuses on how people convince themselves harmful behaviors are justified. For example, someone cheating will create elaborate mental frameworks to avoid confronting guilt. They'll blame their partner or circumstances, or tell themselves they deserve happiness." "That's disgusting," Mrs. Johnson said. "How do people live with themselves?" "Most don't, actually. That's where it gets interesting. The guilt manifests as paranoia. They become hypervigilant, constantly worried about being caught. Every conversation feels like a trap. Every question from their partner seems loaded with hidden meaning. They're essentially torturing themselves." Adam had gone pale. He wasn't eating, just staring at his plate. "But surely," James interjected, sweat on his upper lip, "surely there are circumstances where someone might make a mistake, where the situation is more complex than simple right and wrong?" "Interesting that you'd frame systematic deception as a mistake," Sarah said coolly. "Mistakes are accidental. Cheating requires hundreds of conscious choices. Every lie, every hotel booking, every time they look their partner in the eye and pretend everything's fine, those are choices." "Some of us live in the real world, not in academic theory," James said defensively. "The real world is where consequences exist. In my research, the most fascinating thing is what happens when the betrayed partner finds out. Especially strong partners, intelligent ones, the kind who don't just fall apart, but strategize." She looked directly at Adam. "Those are the dangerous ones, because they don't confront immediately. They gather evidence, they plan, they wait for the perfect moment to strike. And when they do, the betrayer never sees it coming." Adam's fork clattered onto his plate. "Are you okay, honey?" Josie asked, all concern. "You look pale." "I'm fine, just ate too fast." Conversation moved on, but Adam was done. He pushed food around, drank too much wine, barely responded when people spoke. Josie watched him unravel and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. After dinner, People mingled with coffee. Josie cornered James in the kitchen. "I wanted to thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For being such an influence on Adam. He talks about you constantly, how you've shaped his values, his ethics, his approach to relationships." She smiled. "I want you to know that when everything comes to light, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of mentor you've been." James's face went white. "Josie, I don't know what you think. I don't think anything. I know." She showed him a screenshot of a text between him and Adam. James's advice about managing affairs, keeping secrets, how what she doesn't know won't hurt her. Where did you get that? Does it matter? What matters is I have it, along with so much more. So here's my advice, James. Start looking for a new job, because when I'm done with Adam, everyone in your professional circle is going to know what kind of man you really are. She walked away, leaving him paralyzed in her kitchen. The party wound down over the next hour. People left with hugs and thanks, unaware of the psychological warfare. Sarah gave Josie a subtle nod. Mission accomplished. Finally, just Josie and Adam cleaning in silence. Maya was asleep upstairs. The house felt too quiet. "That was weird," Adam finally said. "What was?" "Daniel's girlfriend. All that talk about cheating. It felt pointed." Josie shrugged, rinsing wine glasses. "She's a psychology student, probably just excited about her research." "Why? Did it make you uncomfortable?" "No, just seemed like odd dinner conversation." Josie dried her hands, turned to face him. "Adam, can I ask you something?" He tensed. "Sure." "Are you happy in our marriage?" The question surprised him. "What?" "Yes, of course." "Because if you weren't, if there was something wrong, you'd tell me, right? You wouldn't lie to me. You wouldn't make me look like a fool. You wouldn't betray me in the worst possible way and then stand there pretending everything is fine." Adam's heart was pounding. She could see it. "Josie, why are you asking this?" "Because I love you, and because I trust you completely. You're my husband, my partner, the father of my child. I've built my entire life around trusting you, so I just need to hear you say it, that I'm not a fool for that trust." Adam's face was anguished. For a moment, she thought he might confess. She saw him warring with himself. Then he pulled her close. "You're not a fool. I love you. Everything is fine." The lies tasted like ashes between them. Josie let him hold her, let him believe she believed him. But inside, something went cold and final. He'd had his chance. She'd given him an opening to confess, and he'd chosen to keep lying. No more mercy, no more waiting. It was time for Ben to accelerate. That night, after Adam fell into restless sleep, Josie texted Ben. He had his chance to confess. He chose lies. "I want to accelerate the timeline." Ben's response came immediately. "I've been digging into his work accounts. Found something interesting. Let's meet tomorrow. Same place." Josie climbed back into bed beside her husband. He muttered in sleep, reaching for her. "I'm sorry," he mumbled, still asleep. "I'm so sorry." Too late, Josie thought. Far too late. The time for apologies had passed. Now came the reckoning, and Adam Sandler was about to learn that hell hath no fury like a strong woman betrayed. Chapter 4. The Dismantling. The manila folders spread across Ben's dining table like weapons in an arsenal. Josie sat across from Ben, coffee growing cold as she studied the evidence. It was early morning, that quiet hour when only the ruthless were awake planning vengeance. "This is more than I expected," she said softly. Ben's face was grim. "I've known these people for decades, built relationships. I never thought I'd use them like this. But Adam forced my hand." The first folder contained information about Marcus, Adam's best friend. The man who'd helped hide the affair, provided alibis, sat at their table smiling while keeping secrets. "Marcus has a gambling problem. He's into loan sharks for $80,000. His wife Nancy doesn't know. She thinks their money problems are from bad investments." Josie looked at the records. Betting accounts, casino receipts, Desperate borrowing. How did you get this? Marcus used me as a reference for a loan last year. I made calls, cashed in favors. He betrayed you while you were pregnant. He doesn't deserve protection. Josie nodded slowly. If Nancy knew, she'd divorce him, take their kids. He'd be ruined. Yes. Send her everything, anonymously. Ben pulled out his phone, began composing. No hesitation, no mercy. The second folder was even more damning. James Chen, Adam's mentor, who'd encouraged the affair. James has been committing tax fraud for years. I suspected it during the Henderson merger 5 years ago. Numbers didn't add up. I kept documentation, thinking maybe I was wrong. I wasn't. He's been hiding income, claiming false deductions. If the IRS audited him, he'd face charges. How do we ensure they audit him? Anonymous tip with detailed evidence. Ben met her eyes. Are you sure? Once we start, we can't take it back. Josie thought about James's face, his attempt to defend betrayal as complexity. Thought about text messages where he'd called her the ball and chain. I'm sure. Send it. They worked through the folders methodically. Daniel's business partner who'd helped Adam rent hotels. Josie found evidence he was embezzling from their company. Rachel, who'd acted as lookout when Adam met Vanessa, her husband was being considered for a promotion that would be jeopardized if her role became known. Each piece fell like dominoes. Each person who'd helped Adam face their own reckoning. What about Vanessa? Josie asked. Ben's smile was cold. I've been saving this. Vanessa works in pharmaceutical sales. Very lucrative, but her sales have been suspiciously good. He spread out evidence. Kickback schemes. Bribing doctors to prescribe her company's medications. Illegal, according to federal healthcare laws. She's been breaking the law to line her pockets while sleeping with your husband in hotels paid for with dirty money. Josie stared at the documents. This would destroy Vanessa's career, could lead to criminal charges. She knew I was pregnant, saw the emails. She knew I was on bed rest, scared about complications, still continued the affair, made jokes about it with Adam. Then she deserves what's coming. Yes, she does. Report her to the regulatory board, her company's ethics department, everyone who needs to know. Ben nodded, already drafting emails. They worked for 3 more hours, sending anonymous tips, carefully worded revelations, evidence packages that couldn't be ignored. By the time they finished, Adam's entire support structure was compromised. He's going to notice, Josie said. When all this starts happening, he'll know it's too coordinated. Let him know. Let him understand actions have consequences, that people he trusted to help him destroy you are facing their own destruction. Josie stood, moved to the window. Ben's garden was in full bloom, roses and lilies Sarah had planted. Life continuing despite death, betrayal, pain. My mother called yesterday, said I sounded different. What did you tell her? That I'm finally seeing clearly. Josie turned back. She told me a story I'd never heard. When my father cheated, her friends all knew. Her sister knew. Everyone kept it secret, thinking they were being kind. But when she found out, the betrayal from all of them was almost worse than my father's affair. People are cowards. They choose comfort over courage. Not you. You chose me. Chose what was right, even though it meant betraying your son. He betrayed himself first. Betrayed every value Sarah and I taught him. I'm just holding him accountable. Thank you. The words felt inadequate. When this is over, when everyone knows, they'll judge you too. Say a father should stand by his son. Let them say it. I'd rather stand with a strong woman who was wronged than a weak man who did the wronging. Sarah would have done the same. Josie's phone buzzed. A text from Maya's daycare. She'd made a drawing for Daddy. The innocence made Josie's chest tight. I need to go, pick up Maya, play happy wife for a few more hours. When do you want to move to confrontation? Not yet. Let him watch his world crumble first. Let him wonder why everyone's turning against him. Let him feel isolated, paranoid, scared. Then, when he's completely vulnerable, I'll strike. She kissed Ben's cheek. You're a good man, a good father, Adam just never deserved you. After Josie left, Ben sat alone surrounded by evidence of his son's destruction. His phone rang, Adam's name. He answered. "Hello, son." "Dad, something weird is happening. Marcus called. His wife knows about his gambling, everything. She's filing for divorce. He thinks someone told her." "That's unfortunate." Ben kept his voice neutral. "And James, my mentor? He's being audited by the IRS, full investigation. He's panicking, thinks someone reported him. Sounds like people's chickens are coming home to roost." "Dad, it's too much of a coincidence. Everyone who—" Adam stopped. "Everyone who, what?" Ben's voice was sharp. Silence. "Nothing. Just a bad week for everyone. Maybe people are facing consequences for their actions. Ever think about that?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means lies have a way of catching up with people. Betrayals have a way of coming to light. And when they do, everyone involved pays the price." "Dad, are you okay? You sound weird." "I'm perfectly fine, are you?" Long silence. "I'm okay. Just stressed." "Maybe examine why you're stressed. Think about the choices you've made, the people you've hurt. Maybe think about whether you're the kind of man your mother would be proud of." "Dad, I have to go. Give my love to Josie and Maya." Ben hung up, hands shaking. The first cracks were forming in Adam's composure. Soon, the whole facade would crumble. Over the next week, the dominoes fell exactly as planned. Marcus's wife filed for divorce, taking their children and half his assets. Marcus stopped returning Adam's calls. James was suspended pending the IRS investigation. Reputation in tatters, clients jumping ship. Daniel's business partner was arrested for embezzlement. Daniel cut all contact with Adam. Rachel's husband discovered her role in hiding the affair, threatened to tank her promotion unless she provided evidence. She gave them everything: texts, emails, dates, and times. Adam watched his entire support structure collapse. His friends stopped calling. His mentor was radioactive. Business contacts were distancing. And through it all, Josie remained the perfect wife, supportive, understanding, asking sympathetic questions about why everyone was having such bad luck lately. "It's like the universe is punishing them," she said one night over dinner. Adam's hands shook, cutting his steak. "Maybe it is. But why? What could they have done to deserve this?" Adam looked at her, trying to see if she knew, trying to understand if this was her doing. Josie smiled back, open and loving and utterly terrifying in her composure. "I'm sure it's just coincidence," she said softly. "Bad things happen to bad people sometimes, don't you think?" Adam said nothing, but his face had gone pale. That night, Josie lay in bed listening to Adam toss and turn, unable to sleep. She thought about Ben, her ally, about Sarah, who'd taught her more than she realized about strength, about her daughter, innocent and protected, and she thought about Adam, lying beside her, finally beginning to understand that betrayal didn't happen in a vacuum, that every choice had consequences. She smiled in the darkness. This was just the beginning. The real reckoning was still to come. Chapter 5. The Confrontation. Ben's dining room was decorated for a birthday celebration he hadn't wanted, but Josie insisted on hosting. 65 years old today, the table was set with Sarah's good china, flowers everywhere, cake from the bakery that made their wedding cake decades ago. It would have been perfect, except for what was about to happen. Ben stood by the window, watching cars arrive. His sister Martha, his nephew's family, Adam's cousin Jennifer. A small gathering, intimate and warm, exactly as Sarah would have loved. Josie arrived early, Maya running ahead. "Happy birthday, Grandpa," Ben scooped up his granddaughter. "Thank you, sweetheart. Did you make me a card?" "I made you 2 cards." Maya wriggled down, ran to get her backpack. Josie approached Ben, squeezed his hand. "Are you ready?" "No, but it's time." He had every chance to tell the truth. He chose lies. He chose this. Ben nodded. "Sarah would understand. She'd tell me I'm doing the right thing." "You are." Maya returned with construction paper cards covered in glitter. Ben admired them, his heart breaking at the innocence. She had no idea her world was about to change. Adam arrived 15 minutes late, face drawn and stressed. He'd lost weight over the past month. Sleep deprivation showed in dark circles. "Happy birthday, Dad." He hugged Ben stiffly. "Thank you, son." Ben held on a moment longer, memorizing the feel of his only child. After tonight, everything would be different. The family gathered in the living room. Josie played hostess, making sure everyone had drinks, that appetizers circulated. She was magnetic tonight, drawing people into conversation. Adam sat apart, watching her, watching his father, trying to understand. Dinner was served at 7. Ben said grace, his voice catching on Sarah's traditional words. "Bless this food, bless this family, and help us always choose truth over comfort." Adam's fork paused halfway to his mouth. The meal progressed with easy conversation. Martha told stories about Ben and Sarah's courtship. Jennifer shared news about her new job. Maya chatted about preschool. Dessert was cleared. Cake was served. Ben blew out candles, not making a wish because what he wished for was impossible. He wished none of this was necessary. Then Josie stood up, tapping her wine glass. "I have a surprise for the birthday boy, a special slideshow of family memories." She moved to the laptop connected to Ben's TV. Adam went rigid. "I've been collecting photos for months. Memories of our family, moments worth remembering, lessons worth learning." The screen flickered to life. The first few slides were normal. Ben and Sarah's wedding, young Adam as a baby, family vacations. Everyone smiled. Then the images changed. A photo of Adam entering a hotel, hand in hand with Vanessa, date stamp visible. The room went silent. Another photo. Adam and Vanessa at a restaurant, leaning close, intimate. Jennifer gasped. Martha's hand flew to her mouth. Another, another, another. Hotel receipts with Adam's name, credit card statements, screenshots of text messages between Adam and Vanessa, explicit and damning. "What is this?" Martha whispered. Josie kept clicking, face serene. "This is the truth. This is what your nephew has been doing for 18 months while I was pregnant, while I was raising our daughter, while I trusted him completely." Adam stood up, chair scraping loud. "Josie, stop this." "Why? Does the truth make you uncomfortable?" She clicked to the next slide. Email exchanges between Adam and James Chen discussing strategies for hiding the affair. "Your mentor here gave you advice on how to lie to me more effectively." "This is insane. She's having some kind of breakdown." "Sit down, Adam." Ben's voice cut through the room. "Sit down and face what you've done." Adam stared at his father. "You knew about this?" "I'm the one who told her, who gave her the photos, who helped her gather evidence, who chose to stand with the daughter-in-law you betrayed rather than the son who became someone I don't recognize." The devastation on Adam's face would have moved Josie a month ago. Now, she felt nothing. "Dad, please, please what? Please help you hide it. Your mother is probably turning in her grave. She taught you that character matters, that integrity matters, and you spat on everything she taught you." Josie clicked to the next slide. The timeline laid out in meticulous detail. Every date, Adam lied. Every occasion he met Vanessa while telling Josie he was working late. "During my pregnancy complications, when I was on bed rest terrified I might lose our daughter, you were with her. When Maya was born and I was recovering, you left the hospital to meet her. On our anniversary, you told me you had to work late. You were with her." Adam sank back into his chair, face ashen. "The worst part is that everyone knew. Your friends helped you, made jokes about me, called me the wife, like I was some obstacle rather than a person you'd made vows to." She met everyone's eyes. "I'm showing you this because I want you to understand exactly who Adam Sandler is. Not the charming man at family dinners, not the devoted son, but the man who systematically betrayed his wife, involved his friends in the deception, and felt no remorse until he got caught." Adam tried to speak, but no words came. "I deserve better. My daughter deserves a father who understands that love means integrity, that family means honesty. She closed the laptop. The screen went black. I've filed for divorce. I'm taking primary custody of Maya. You'll be hearing from my lawyer next week, but I wanted your family to understand why. I wanted them to see the evidence, to know this wasn't a misunderstanding or a mistake. This was 18 months of calculated betrayal. Martha was crying. Jennifer looked disgusted. Adam's cousin wouldn't look at him. Josie bent down, kissed Ben's cheek. Happy birthday. Thank you for being the father I always needed. Ben caught her hand, squeezed tight. Adam finally found his voice. Josie, please. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything. You'll do nothing. You had 1,000 chances to tell the truth. 1,000 moments where you could have been a man instead of a coward. I gave you opportunities to confess, and you chose lies every single time. I was weak. I made terrible choices. But I love you. No, you don't love me. You don't even respect me. You loved the comfort of having a devoted wife at home while you played out your fantasies. You loved the lie. She picked up Maya, who'd been sitting confused in Martha's lap. Say goodbye to your father. Bye, Daddy. Maya's small voice broke something in the room. Adam reached for them, but Josie stepped back. Don't. You don't get to touch us anymore. She walked out, heels loud on hardwood. Behind her, Adam broke, sobs tearing from his chest, hands covering his face. Ben stood over his son, looking down at the broken man who'd once been a child he'd rocked to sleep. I don't know you. The son I raised would never have done this. He died somewhere along the way, and this weak, selfish imposter took his place. Dad, please, I need you. You needed me to enable your lies. But I choose her. I choose Josie. I choose my granddaughter. I choose integrity over blood. He looked at his family. Anyone who wants to maintain a relationship with Adam, that's your choice. But understand that doing so means accepting what he did. It means looking Josie in the eye, knowing she was betrayed, and deciding that's acceptable. I won't do that. He walked out, leaving Adam sobbing at the table surrounded by family members who couldn't look at him. Outside, Ben found Josie sitting in her car, Maya asleep in her car seat, her own hands shaking on the wheel. Ben got in the passenger side, sat beside her in silence. That was harder than I expected, Josie whispered. I know. For a second when he was crying, I almost felt sorry for him. That's because you're a good person, better than he deserves, but feeling sympathy doesn't mean he doesn't deserve consequences. Josie looked at him, this man who'd sacrificed his relationship with his only child to protect her. Thank you for standing with me. Sarah would have done the same. She loved you like a daughter. Told me before she died that if anything happened, I should make sure you and Maya were taken care of. That you were family. Real family. He squeezed her hand. I'm keeping that promise. They sat together in the gathering dark, knowing what happened tonight would ripple through their family for years. Knowing there was no going back. Knowing it was necessary. What happens now? Ben asked. Josie started the car. Now he learns to live with consequences. Now he faces a world where people know what he really is. She pulled out, leaving behind the house where everything had changed, where a family had shattered, where a man had finally faced his reckoning. In the rearview mirror, Ben's house grew smaller. Inside, Adam sat alone at his father's table, surrounded by the wreckage of his lies, finally understanding what he'd lost. Everything. He'd lost everything, and he had no one to blame but himself. Chapter 6. The Fallout. The divorce papers arrived on a Tuesday morning. Adam opened them in Ben's kitchen, where he'd been staying since Josie changed the locks. His house. The house he'd bought with money from his job he was probably about to lose. Coffee? Ben asked, voice neutral and distant. Not cruel, but not warm either. No. Adam's hands shook reading the documents. Full custody to Josie. Visitation only under supervised conditions. Assets heavily favoring her. Maximum child support. She's taking everything, he whispered. Ben poured his own coffee, didn't look at his son. She deserves everything. You're lucky she's not demanding more. Dad, I know I messed up. Messed up is forgetting to pay a bill. What you did was calculated, systematic betrayal over 18 months. Don't minimize it. I'm still your son. And Josie is still my daughter-in-law. Maya is still my granddaughter. You being my biological son doesn't erase what you did to them. Ben's eyes were hard. You're welcome to stay here until you find an apartment, but don't expect me to comfort you or make excuses. You did this to yourself. Adam's phone rang. His boss, Richard. Adam, we need to talk. Come to the office. 2 p.m. The line went dead. Adam knew what that meant. The affair had spread through the company like wildfire. Everyone was talking. He made it to the shower before he threw up. When he emerged, Ben was gone. A note on the counter. At the store, lock up when you leave. Not even a signature. Adam drove to the office in a daze. Co-workers avoided eye contact. His assistant said nothing as he passed. The walk to Richard's office felt like heading to the gallows. Sit down, Adam. Richard didn't offer his hand. Behind him stood Linda from HR and Stuart from legal. We're terminating your employment effective immediately. Your personal conduct has created a hostile work environment and damaged the firm's reputation. What? That's not legal. Your personal life became the firm's business when you used company credit cards for hotel rooms, when you lied on expense reports, when you involved employees in covering for your affair during work hours. Stuart pushed a folder across. Documentation of policy violations. Grounds for immediate termination. Adam opened it. Every lie documented. Every false expense report highlighted. You're also facing potential legal action to recoup funds spent on personal expenses misrepresented as business costs. We recommend you retain counsel. Not only fired, but they were going to sue him. Richard, please. I've been here 8 years, brought in millions. You've also created a PR nightmare. 3 clients have already pulled accounts because they don't want to be associated with someone who conducted himself so unethically. Richard stood. Security will escort you to clean out your desk. Your access has been revoked. The walk back was the longest of Adam's life. Security guards flanked him. Co-workers whispered. His professional reputation, built over nearly a decade, destroyed in a single morning. He packed personal items into a box, photos of Maya, awards, the mug Josie gave him that said, "World's Best Dad." The irony was crushing. Outside, he stood on the sidewalk with his box, unemployed for the first time since college. His phone buzzed. Vanessa. We need to talk. Meet me at the park. He shouldn't go, but he was desperate for someone who might show sympathy. She was waiting on a bench, looking worse than he did. Unwashed hair, swollen eyes. My company fired me. Someone reported me for kickbacks, for bribing doctors. They found evidence I'd been breaking federal regulations for years. Adam sat heavily. When? Last week. I've been too ashamed to tell anyone. My lawyer says I could face criminal charges. Federal charges, Adam. I could go to prison. 2 people who'd destroyed their lives for an affair that hadn't been worth it. Was it Josie? Vanessa asked. I don't know. Maybe. Or my father. Adam laughed bitterly. He's on her side now. Chose her over me. I tried to kill myself, Vanessa whispered. Adam's head snapped toward her. What? 3 days ago. Pills. My roommate found me, called 911. They kept me for observation. Made me talk to a psychiatrist. I told them everything. The affair, the kickbacks, how I'd destroyed my career for a married man who was never leaving his wife. Vanessa, I was so stupid. You told me you loved me, that you were leaving Josie, that we'd be together, and I believed you because I wanted to. But you were never going to leave her, were you? Adam couldn't answer, because she was right. I ruined my life for you, and you ruined your life for what? For sex? For ego? I don't know. Most honest thing he'd said in months. Josie called me yesterday, from the hospital. She told me she hoped I got help, that she hoped I'd learn from this and never hurt anyone else. Even after everything, she was kind to me. That's how I knew. We're the villains in this story. Adam thought about Josie's face at the dinner. The cold control. She'd won, completely. She'd done it without screaming or crying. She'd done it with strategy and ice and an unexpected ally in his own father. She destroyed us, Adam said. No, we destroyed ourselves. She just held up a mirror so everyone could see what we really are. Vanessa walked away, leaving Adam alone holding a box from a job he'd lost, married to a woman who hated him, living in his father's basement like a failure. His phone buzzed, his lawyer confirming their meeting about divorce terms. Another email from his company's legal team about repaying misused funds. A message from cousin Jennifer saying she couldn't be in contact anymore. Everyone was cutting him off. Everyone was choosing Josie. He drove back to Ben's house, let himself in. The house was empty. Ben was probably with Josie, probably helping her, probably being the father to her. He couldn't be to Adam anymore. In the basement room, Adam lay on the small bed and finally let himself really cry. Deep, gut-wrenching sobs from finally understanding what he'd lost. His wife, his daughter, his father, his career, his reputation, his future, all for an affair that had never even been real. Upstairs he heard the front door, Ben's footsteps, lighter footsteps, someone with him. Adam crept to the door, opened it a crack. "Thank you for letting me come by," Josie's voice. "Maya wanted to see her drawings on your fridge." "She's always welcome. You both are." Ben's voice was warm. "Is he here?" Josie asked quietly. "In the basement." "Do you want him to come up?" "No, I don't want Maya to see him like this." Adam watched through the crack as Ben hugged Josie, as Maya ran to the kitchen to see her artwork. His daughter, his wife, his father. A family unit he was no longer part of. He'd done this. Every choice, every lie, every moment he'd chosen Vanessa over his vows. He'd built this prison himself, and now he was living in it, with no one to blame but himself. Chapter 7. The Breaking Point. 2 months later, Adam had moved into a studio apartment in the worst part of town. It was all he could afford after child support, after paying back the company, after lawyer fees, thin walls, neighbors arguing at all hours, heat barely worked, a far cry from the beautiful house Josie still lived in with Maya. He'd lost 18 pounds, couldn't sleep without pills, couldn't eat without nausea. The depression was crushing, a physical weight that made getting out of bed impossible some days. His only job prospect was a sales position, making a quarter what he used to earn. Even that felt tenuous. Background checks revealed his firing. The worst part was Maya. He'd had 2 supervised visits, a sterile room where a social worker watched his every interaction. Maya had cried the first visit, confused why Daddy couldn't come home. The second visit, she'd barely spoken. He was losing her, losing the only purely good thing in his life. Tonight, he sat with a 6-pack of cheap beer, scrolling through old photos, Josie smiling at their wedding, Maya as a newborn, Ben teaching her to fish, a family that didn't exist anymore. His phone rang. Ben's name. "Hello?" Adam's voice was hoarse. "I need to talk to you. Can you come over tomorrow morning?" "Are you okay? Just come over, please." The line went dead. Adam spent a sleepless night wondering. Maybe Ben was cutting him off completely. He arrived at 8 a.m., unshaven, wearing the same clothes from yesterday. Ben answered, looking worse than Adam had ever seen him, like he'd aged 10 years in 2 months. "Come in. Sit down." Adam sat, hands wrapped around the warm mug Ben offered. "I need to tell you something I've been struggling with for weeks," Ben said finally. "Okay. I'm proud of what I did. Choosing Josie, helping her expose you, standing up for what was right. But Adam, you're still my son, and watching you destroy yourself is killing me." Adam's throat tightened. "I see you shrinking, disappearing. You've lost weight. You look sick, and I know you deserve consequences, but I'm watching my only child suffer, and it's breaking something in me. Dad, let me finish. Your mother died 7 years ago. For 7 years, you've been all I have left of her. You have her eyes, her laugh. Even though you've become someone I don't recognize, you're still the baby I held in the hospital, still the boy I taught to ride a bike, Still my son. Tears ran down Adam's face. I went to your mother's grave yesterday, told her everything, what you did, what I did, how our family fell apart. I asked her what she would have done. What did she say? Nothing, because she's dead. I have to make these impossible choices alone. But I know Sarah. She would have been furious with you, ashamed of you. But she also would have grieved for you, because that's what parents do. We grieve for our children when they fail, even when they deserve the failure. Adam couldn't speak. I'm not asking Josie to forgive you. She shouldn't. What you did was unforgivable. But I need to tell you that even though I'm standing with her, even though I'll continue standing with her, you're still my son. I still love you, even if I don't like you right now, even if I'm ashamed. Love doesn't just disappear. I don't deserve your love. No, you don't. But that's the thing about being a parent. We love you anyway. Ben's voice was hard. Through your failures, through your worst choices, through moments when you become someone we barely recognize. Adam dropped his head and sobbed, raw, broken sounds from somewhere deep. Ben let him cry, didn't comfort him, just sat bearing witness. Finally, Adam looked up. I tried to apologize to Josie 3 times. She won't read my messages. Good, she shouldn't. You don't get to apologize your way out of what you did. Then what do? You live with it. You accept that you destroyed something beautiful. You accept that consequences are permanent. You stop looking for forgiveness and start figuring out how to be better, even if that better man never gets his family back. I miss Maya so much it hurts to breathe. Then show up to every supervised visit. Prove over months and years you're committed to being her father, even from a distance. Don't do it for reward. Do it because it's right. Adam wiped his eyes. Do you ever think about cutting me off completely? Every day. Every day I think about how much easier it would be to just choose Josie and Maya and let you go. But I'm your father. That's not a role I quit when it gets hard. I'm so sorry, Dad. I know, but sorry doesn't fix anything. Sorry doesn't give Josie back the years of trust. Sorry is just words. What do I do with all this guilt? You carry it. Forever. You let it teach you never to make the same mistakes. Ben stood, moved to the window. Your mother had a saying, character isn't about never falling. It's about what you do after you hit the ground. They sat in silence, father and son, separated by betrayal, but still tethered by blood. Josie called me yesterday, Ben said finally. She's struggling too. Adam's head shot up. What? Not with the divorce. Not with exposing you, but with the aftermath. She told me revenge didn't heal her the way she thought, that destroying you just created new pain. Did she say she regrets it? No. She said she'd do it all again because you deserved consequences, but she admitted that knowing you're suffering doesn't make her suffering go away. It just means you're both suffering now. Adam absorbed this. The idea that Josie wasn't triumphant, wasn't healed by his destruction, was somehow worse. She asked me to check on you, make sure you're not... Ben couldn't finish. Make sure I'm not killing myself. Yes. Adam laughed bitterly. Tell her I'm too much of a coward for that. I'll just live with this guilt, like you said. That's not cowardice. That's facing consequences. Ben walked to a drawer, pulled out a folder. I've been documenting your recovery, or lack thereof. The weight loss, the depression, the fact that you show up to every visit with Maya even though she barely speaks to you. Why? Because at some point Josie might need to see that you're taking this seriously. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it so Maya has a complete record, so when she's older she can understand. She's going to hate me. Maybe. Or maybe she'll see that you made terrible mistakes but didn't run from them. Children are more forgiving than adults sometimes. Adam took the folder, flipped through pages documenting his descent. Devastating to see his life reduced to clinical observations. Dad, do you think I'll ever get them back? Honestly? No, I don't think Josie will ever forgive you. I don't think your marriage will ever be repaired. What you did broke something fundamental. So, this is it. This is my life now. This is your life now. But that doesn't mean it can't be worth living. You can be a good father from a distance. You can rebuild a career. You can become the kind of man your mother would have been proud of, even if you never get back what you lost. Adam stood, feeling older than his years. Thank you for checking on me. I'm your father. It's my job. Adam, one more thing. The next time you see Josie, don't try to apologize. Don't try to explain. Just show her through your actions that you're taking responsibility. That's the only thing she might respect. Okay. Adam left, drove back to his apartment, and for the first time in weeks felt something other than despair. Not hope. Hope seemed too optimistic. But something. A small ember of determination. To be better. To face consequences without running. To be the father Maya deserved, even if only from the edges of her life. He pulled out his phone, looked at Maya's photo on his lock screen. Her smile before he'd destroyed everything. I'll be better, he whispered. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me, but I'll be better anyway. It was the first promise he'd made in months that he intended to keep. Chapter 8. The Mirror. Josie stood in Ben's backyard, watching Maya chase butterflies through Sarah's old garden. She seems happy, Ben said, coming up beside her with lemonade. She does, but she asks about Adam every night. When is Daddy coming home? I don't know how to answer. What do you tell her? That Daddy made mistakes and is working on being better. That he loves her very much. That sometimes grown-ups need space. Josie's voice was tired. I refuse to poison her against him, even though every instinct screams to protect her. Ben nodded approvingly. Sarah would say you're being the bigger person. I don't feel big. I feel exhausted. Josie watched Maya catch a butterfly, examine it, then let it go. Ben, I need to ask you something. Truthfully. Do you regret choosing me over Adam? The question hung between them. Ben was quiet, watching his granddaughter. Yes and no, he finally said. I regret that the choice had to exist at all. I regret my son became someone who made it necessary. But do I regret standing with you, with what's right, with protecting my granddaughter from learning that betrayal is acceptable? No, never. He's your son, and you're my daughter, not by blood, but by choice, by love, by the fact that you've shown more integrity in these months than Adam showed in 18 months of lies. Ben turned to face her. But I'll admit something. Seeing him destroyed hasn't brought me peace either. What do you mean? I went to his apartment last week. It's awful. Small, cold, depressing. He's lost so much weight. Looks sick. Barely functions. Ben's eyes were wet. I know he deserves consequences. I know we did the right thing. But watching my child suffer, even when he brought it on himself, breaks something in me every single day. Josie felt her own eyes sting. I never wanted him destroyed. I just wanted him to understand, to hurt the way I hurt. Mission accomplished. He's facing it. They stood in silence, both grappling with the complicated reality that justice didn't always feel satisfying. My mother came to visit last week. You remember I told you she and my father divorced when I was 12 because he cheated? I remember. She told me something I never knew. After the divorce, after she'd exposed him and humiliated him and taken everything, she spent the next 20 years bitter and angry, let the betrayal define her entire life, never dated again, never trusted anyone, died inside while still breathing. Ben looked at her carefully. What did she say to you? She said I'm becoming like her, that she sees the same hardness, the same inability to move past the pain. She said revenge might have destroyed Adam, but it's also destroying me. Josie's voice cracked. She begged me not to waste 30 years carrying hate, not to let Adam's betrayal become my identity. What do you think about that? I think she's right. I think I won. I completely destroyed him. Everyone knows what he did. He's lost everything. Justice was served, but I don't feel better. I just feel empty. Maya ran over, small hand clutching a daisy. Grandpa, can we plant flowers like Grandma Sarah did? Of course, sweetheart. Ben bent to her level. Your grandma always said flowers are like people. They need good soil, sunshine, and patience to grow. I want to grow something pretty. Maya's enthusiasm was infectious. After Maya ran back to the garden, Ben turned to Josie. You know what Sarah would tell you right now? What? That revenge is natural, but healing requires more than revenge. That you've made Adam face consequences, but now you need to focus on building something new instead of just destroying what was. How do I do that? How do I move past this? I don't know. But I know staying in this place, this anger, this focus on Adam's suffering, isn't moving forward. It's just standing still while drowning in the past. Josie's phone buzzed, her therapist confirming tomorrow's appointment. She'd started therapy a month ago, finally admitting she needed help. Dr. Martinez said something similar. She said I'm stuck in the revenge phase, that I need to move toward the healing phase. But every time I think about healing, it feels like letting Adam off the hook. Healing isn't for Adam, it's for you and for Maya. Ben gestured toward the garden. She needs a mother who's present, not consumed by what her father did. I know, I do. Josie sat on the porch steps. But every night I replay it all. The lies, the affair, Vanessa in my house, and the anger just builds again. Then maybe it's time to ask yourself, what would closure look like? Real closure, not just revenge. Josie considered this. I don't know. Adam's apologized through lawyers, sent letters I haven't read, shown up to every supervised visit. What more do I want? Maybe you need to see him face to face, not at a custody hearing or through lawyers, but actually talk to him, hear what he has to say without a mediator. No, I can't. I'm not ready. I'm not saying you have to be ready today. I'm saying at some point, if you want true closure, you might need to look him in the eye one more time, not for him, for you. The idea terrified Josie. Seeing Adam talking to him felt like reopening wounds she'd worked so hard to cauterize with rage. But maybe that was the problem. She'd cauterized instead of letting them heal, burned away the pain instead of processing it. He's been in therapy, Ben said quietly. Did you know that? What? Seeing a counselor 3 times a week, working through his issues, his guilt, his self-destruction. I'm not telling you to forgive him, but I'm telling you he's trying to become better, even though he knows he'll probably never get you back. Why are you telling me this? Because I love you both. Differently complicated, but love nonetheless. And I don't want either of you to spend the rest of your lives trapped in this moment. Him in guilt, you in anger. Maya came running back, this time with weeds she thought were flowers. Josie helped her plant them, praising her gardening skills, all while her mind spun with Ben's words. Later that evening, back at her house, the house that felt too big and too quiet, Josie finally opened the letters Adam had sent through his lawyer. The first was simple. I'm sorry. You deserved better. I failed you, failed Maya, failed myself. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand what I did was unforgivable. The second, written a month later, was longer. Details about his therapy, his realization about how entitled he'd been, how he'd taken her for granted, how he was working on becoming someone his daughter could respect. The third letter, just arrived yesterday, was shortest. I don't deserve to be Maya's father, but I'm trying to earn the right to be in her life anyway, not for me, for her. Thank you for letting me try. Josie put the letters down, hands shaking. She'd expected excuses, manipulation. Instead, she found genuine remorse and accountability. It didn't change what he'd done, didn't erase the pain, but it was something, a small indication that destroying him had maybe led to him actually confronting who he'd become. Her phone rang. Ben, I'm sorry for pushing earlier. That wasn't fair. You were right, though. I am stuck. We're all stuck. Me, you, Adam, even Maya in her own way. We're all frozen in this moment, unable to move forward. How do we get unstuck? I don't know, but I think the first step is admitting we want to be unstuck, that we're tired of this weight. After they hung up, Josie went to Maya's room. Her daughter was sleeping peacefully, clutching the stuffed rabbit Adam had bought her. Even in sleep, even after everything, Maya still loved her father. Children were capable of forgiveness in ways adults struggled with. Josie sat on the edge of Maya's bed, stroking her daughter's hair. "I don't know how to heal from this, baby. I don't know how to move past the pain. But I promise I'll try. For you, I'll try to be whole again, not just surviving, but actually living." Maya stirred in sleep, smiling at whatever she was dreaming. And Josie made a decision. She would call Adam. Set up a meeting, not to reconcile, not to forgive, but to look him in the eye and hear what he had to say. She owed it to herself, to Maya, to the possibility of actually healing instead of just existing in this limbo of rage. Tomorrow, she would call. Tomorrow, she would take the first step towards something that wasn't revenge or destruction. Tomorrow, she would try to heal. Chapter 9. The Proposal. The coffee shop was neutral territory, chosen because neither had memories there. Josie arrived 10 minutes early, ordered black coffee she wouldn't drink, chose a table in the back corner where they wouldn't be seen. Her hands shook as she waited. 3 months since the dinner. 3 months since she'd destroyed Adam's life. She almost left twice. Almost stood up, walked out. But Ben's words echoed, "Closure isn't for him, it's for you." Adam arrived exactly on time. He looked terrible, gaunt, hollow-eyed, clothes hanging loose. When he saw her, relief and terror crossed his face. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," he said, voice hoarse. Josie gestured to the chair. "Sit." He sat, hands clasped tight like he was afraid they'd do something without permission. "I wasn't sure you'd come." "I almost didn't." Awkward silence. Josie studied him. This man she'd loved so completely, who'd destroyed that love so thoroughly. She tried to find hate, but found only exhausted sadness. "You look terrible," she said finally. "I am terrible. I've lost everything. Job, friends, reputation, family. I'm working retail, barely making rent, living in an apartment with cockroaches." He met her eyes. "I deserve all of it." "Yes, you do. I read that you wanted to talk, to hear what I have to say. I don't even know where to start." "I'm sorry," feels insulting. "Then start with why. Why did you do it?" Adam was quiet, gathering words. "I could say I was stressed, or you were busy with Maya, or Vanessa made me feel young again. But those are excuses. The truth is uglier. I want the truth. The truth is I felt entitled to excitement, to variety, to having my perfect family while also having adventure. I thought I was smart enough to get away with it, and when I did for months, I felt powerful." He looked down. "I convinced myself you'd never find out so it wouldn't hurt you. Like betrayal doesn't count if you don't know." Josie felt her chest tighten. "But mostly, I took you for granted. You were always there, always understanding, always forgiving my small failures. I thought that meant you'd always be there no matter what. I thought your love was unlimited. Love should be unconditional. No, love should have conditions, faithfulness, honesty, respect. I violated all those and expected you to love me anyway. That's not love. That's exploitation." Josie was surprised by his insight. "You've been in therapy 3 times a week. It's the only thing keeping me functional. Dr. Roberts made me diagram out every lie I told. It took 6 weeks just to map it out. Do you know how many times I lied to you in 18 months? I don't want to know. Over 3,000. 3,000 lies. I created an entire false reality." His voice broke. "I don't recognize the person I became. That's supposed to make me feel better? No. Nothing I say will make you feel better. I'm not here asking for forgiveness. I'm here because my therapist said I need to take accountability face to face, to hear whatever you want to say without defending myself." Josie felt tears threaten. "You want to know what you took from me? Not just trust. You took my ability to believe in love, in family. I know. You destroyed my faith in my own judgment. I thought I knew you, but I was completely blind for 18 months. Josie, I'm not finished. You also took Maya's stable family. She asks me every night why Daddy can't come home. She's 4 years old and already learning that the people she loves can destroy her world. Adam's face crumpled. I hate myself for what I did to her. Hating yourself doesn't help her, doesn't undo the damage. Josie leaned forward. You want real accountability? Here it is. You need to be a good father from a distance. Show up to every supervised visit, even when she won't talk to you. Be consistent, reliable, present in whatever limited capacity you're allowed, not for redemption, because it's right. I've been showing up. I'll keep showing up. And if she never forgives you, if she grows up and chooses not to have a relationship, then I accept that consequence too. Adam wiped his eyes. Dr. Roberts asked what I wanted my legacy with Maya to be. I said I wanted her to remember I loved her. He said that wasn't enough. Actions matter more than feelings. So my goal now is for Maya to grow up knowing that even after I made terrible mistakes, I never stopped trying to be better. Even if I failed, even if she never forgives me, at least she'll know I tried. Josie felt something shift. Not forgiveness, but perhaps the tiniest acknowledgement that he was doing the work. Ben tells me you've been reading books about being better. How to talk so kids will listen. The 4 agreements. The gifts of imperfection. I'm trying to understand where I went wrong, how I became so selfish, how to be different. And what have you learned? That I was operating from ego and fear. Ego that I deserved more than I had. Fear that this was all there was. The affair made me feel special. I traded real love for an ego boost. Vanessa tried to kill herself. Adam's face went white. What? Pills. Her roommate found her. She survived. She called me from the hospital. Apologized. Said you'd used her too. I did. Absolutely. I told her I loved her when I didn't. Told her I was leaving you when I wasn't. Kept her hooked with promises that were never real. Do you feel guilty about her? Every day. Not the way I feel guilty about you. That's a different kind of shame. But yes, I manipulated her, used her, then abandoned her when consequences came. Adam's voice was hollow. I've tried to reach out to apologize, but her lawyer told me to stop contacting her, that I've done enough damage. Josie studied him, trying to determine if this remorse was genuine. He seemed different now. Broken, yes, but perhaps genuinely broken. What do you want from this meeting? She asked finally. Nothing, honestly. I know I'll never get you back. I know our marriage is over. I'm not here hoping for reconciliation. I'm here because you asked, and I owed you the respect of showing up and being honest. Ben thinks I need closure. Do you? Josie considered. I thought destroying you would give me closure. Watching you lose everything. I thought that would heal me. Did it? No. It just meant we were both suffering. The pain didn't go away. It multiplied. Adam nodded slowly. My therapist said revenge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You might have destroyed my life, but you're still carrying the weight. I hate that you're right about that. Silence. 2 people who'd promised forever, now strangers navigating wreckage. Can I ask you something? Adam's voice was tentative. About Maya. Does she hate me? Josie thought about her daughter's tearful questions, her confusion. No, she's hurt and confused, but she doesn't hate you. She misses you, asks about you constantly. What do you tell her? The truth, in 4-year-old terms, that you made bad choices, that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes with big consequences, that you love her but need to work on being better. Josie's voice softened. I refuse to poison her against you. Despite everything, you're still her father. Adam's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. You didn't have to do that. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for her, and for the woman I want to be, not someone consumed by bitterness like my mother. They sat together, processing years of history and months of pain. Josie stood up suddenly. I need to go. Adam stood too. "Thank you for meeting me." She paused at the door, turned back. "Adam, I can't forgive you, maybe not ever. But I can acknowledge that you're trying to be better, that you're facing consequences instead of running. That's not nothing. It's more grace than I deserve. Grace isn't about deserving." Josie pulled her coat tighter. "Ben will continue supervising your visits with Maya. If you keep showing up, keep doing the work, in 6 months we'll reassess, maybe extend visitation, but you have to earn it." "I will, I swear." "Don't swear to me. Prove it to Maya. Be the father she deserves, not the one you were." Josie walked out into the cool evening, feeling lighter than she had in months, not healed, not whole, but perhaps on the path toward both. She called Ben from her car. "How did it go?" He took accountability, full accountability, no excuses, just honest acknowledgement. "How do you feel?" "Confused, exhausted, but maybe a little less angry." Josie started her car. "I think seeing him broken, hearing him genuinely remorseful, made him human again instead of just a villain. That's progress. Is it, or is it weakness? It's healing, real healing, not just revenge." Ben's voice was gentle. "You didn't forgive him. You didn't take him back. You just acknowledged his humanity while maintaining boundaries. That's exactly what you should be doing. He's never getting me back, even if he becomes the best version of himself. I know, and I think he knows that too, but he can still be a good father to Maya. That's enough." After they hung up, Josie drove home, windows down despite the cold. She thought about Adam's face, the genuine remorse, about Ben's choice to stand with her while still loving his son, about Maya's butterfly drawing and her childish faith in transformation. She thought about her mother's warning, about not wasting decades carrying bitterness, and she made a decision. She wouldn't forgive Adam, wouldn't reconcile, wouldn't pretend the betrayal was acceptable, but she would try to heal, would try to move forward, would try to be whole again, not for him but for herself and her daughter. Revenge had destroyed Adam. Now it was time to build something new from the ashes. Chapter 10. The Choice. 6 months had passed since the coffee shop meeting. Josie stood in Ben's kitchen helping prepare Sunday dinner. It had become their tradition. Every Sunday she and Maya came over, and lately Adam had been included. Separate from Josie, careful, supervised, but present. "He's been consistent," Ben said, chopping vegetables. "Every visit on time, no excuses, no attempts to manipulate." "I know." Josie stirred sauce, watching through the window as Adam played with Maya in the backyard. "Dr. Martinez thinks we should discuss extending visitation, maybe allowing unsupervised time. What do you think?" "I think he's done the work. Changed, maybe genuinely, but I'm terrified of trusting him again." Ben set down his knife. "You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to proceed carefully, but you're also allowed to acknowledge growth." Through the window, Maya shrieked with laughter as Adam helped her climb the old oak tree. Adam was patient, encouraging, completely focused. "He's different," Josie admitted quietly, "with her, more present than he ever was. Losing everything taught him what matters." The timer went off. Josie pulled garlic bread from the oven. These Sunday dinners had become sacred, a small island of peace in the chaos. Adam and Maya came inside, Maya chattering about birds and adventures. She climbed onto her chair, and Adam hesitated before sitting. "Sit down, Adam," Ben said gently. "You're welcome at this table." They ate together, Maya filling silence with stories that required dramatic gestures. Josie watched Adam interact, fully engaged, asking questions, making Maya feel heard. This was the father she'd always wanted for Maya, the one who was present. She'd just never imagined it would take complete destruction for him to become that person. After dinner, Maya fell asleep on the couch. Ben carried her to the guest room, leaving Josie and Adam alone. "She's getting so big," Adam said softly. "She is, growing up fast. I'm missing so much of it. That's the consequence of your choices." "I know, but I'm grateful for whatever time I get." Josie studied him. He'd gained some weight back, looked healthier, Still carried the weight of what he'd done, but learning to bear it. My lawyer sent papers, requesting modification of the custody arrangement. Adam's head snapped toward her. What kind? Unsupervised visitation, every other weekend, plus one weeknight dinner. Contingent on you maintaining therapy, your job, your accountability. You're serious? Dr. Martinez thinks it's time. Ben agrees. Maya asks about spending more time with you. Josie met his eyes. I'm the only one hesitating. Because you don't trust me. Because I don't trust easily anymore. You destroyed that. Adam nodded. What would it take for you to sign those papers? Josie had thought about this constantly. I need to know that if Maya asks about the divorce, you'll tell her the truth. Age-appropriate truth. That you'll take responsibility. I can do that. I need to know you'll never speak badly about me to her. That you'll support my parenting decisions. That you'll put her needs above your ego. Done. And I need to know that if you start dating, I meet that person before they meet Maya. She's been through enough trauma. Adam's jaw tightened, but he nodded. That's fair. I need you to understand that this doesn't mean forgiveness, doesn't mean reconciliation. This is purely about Maya having access to her father. I understand completely. And if you violate any boundary, any agreement, I will take her away so fast. One strike, Adam. That's all you get. I won't mess this up, I swear. Don't swear. Prove it. She stood, gathering her things. The papers will be filed tomorrow. First unsupervised visit is next weekend, Friday evening through Sunday afternoon. Ben will do handoffs for now. Adam stood, looking like he wanted to hug her but knowing better. Thank you. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because Maya deserves a father who's present, because despite everything, she loves you. Still. Thank you. Ben returned, saw them standing together. Everything okay? Fine. Josie smiled at Ben. I'm going to get Maya. We should head home. As she carried her sleeping daughter to the car, Ben walked her out. You did a brave thing in there. Or a stupid thing. I won't know which until I see how he handles it. I'll be watching him closely. If he falters, if he fails her, I'll be the first one pushing for supervised visits again. I know, that's the only reason I'm able to do this. Josie buckled Maya in, because I trust you to protect her even from your own son if necessary. Always. She's my granddaughter. You're my daughter. Those relationships come first. Josie hugged Ben tight. Thank you for everything. For being the father I needed, for showing me what real love looks like. Sarah would be proud of you, of your strength, of your grace. I hope so. Driving home through dark streets, Josie glanced at Maya, sleeping peacefully. Her daughter deserved better than the broken family they'd become. But maybe they could build something functional from the ruins. Not the same, not the fairy tale ending, but something real and honest and good enough. The next Friday, Ben supervised the handoff. Adam arrived 15 minutes early, nervous and excited. He'd bought groceries for Maya's favorite meals, had books ready, had planned activities. Remember, Josie said as she handed Maya over, bedtime is 8 p.m., no sugar after dinner. She has a nightlight. Call me if anything goes wrong. I will, I promise. Maya grabbed her father's hand, chattering about building a fort and making pancakes. Adam looked at his daughter like she was the most precious thing in the universe. Have fun, baby, she told Maya, kissing her forehead. Be good for Daddy. As she watched them walk away, Josie felt Ben's hand on her shoulder. You're doing the right thing. Then why does it feel so scary? Because you're taking a risk, opening a door you sealed shut. But Maya needs this. That weekend was the longest of Josie's life. She cleaned obsessively, called to check 3 times, barely slept. But when Ben brought Maya home Sunday afternoon, her daughter was glowing. Mommy, Daddy and I made cookies and watched movies and he taught me to ride a bike. Maya hugged Josie tight. Can I go again next weekend? We'll see, baby. Adam stood at a distance, giving them space. She was perfect, no issues. I followed all your rules. Good. Same time next Friday? I'll be there. The months that followed established a new normal. Adam picked Maya up every other weekend, returned her on time, followed every rule. He sent photos during his time with their daughter, included Josie in decisions. He was the co-parent she'd always wished for, just 5 years too late, through a path of destruction. One Sunday evening, almost a year after everything fell apart, the whole family gathered at Ben's house. Adam was there, Josie was there, Maya bridged the gap between them. After Maya went to play, the 3 adults sat on Ben's porch drinking coffee. "Can I say something?" Adam asked carefully. "Go ahead," Josie said. "I know I can never fix what I broke. I know our marriage is over." He stared at his coffee. "But I want you to know that being Maya's father, really being present, has taught me more about love than I ever understood." "What do you mean?" "The affair was about me, my ego, my desires. But being a father to Maya, especially now when I have to earn it, has taught me that real love means showing up even when it's hard, even when you get nothing back." Adam looked at both of them. "I'm learning to love without expecting reward, to be present without demanding recognition, to be better not because it benefits me, but because it's right." Josie felt something shift, not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. That's what parenthood should teach everyone. I had to lose everything to learn it. Adam's smile was sad. "But I'm grateful I'm learning it at all." Ben stood, stretched. "I'm going to check on Maya." After Ben left, Josie and Adam sat in companionable silence. A year ago, such a moment would have been impossible. "I need to tell you something," Josie said finally. "I've started dating." Adam's face showed surprise, then pain, then acceptance. "That's good. You deserve happiness." "His name is Marcus. He's a teacher, kind, patient, nothing like you." She wasn't trying to hurt him, just stating facts. "Maya hasn't met him yet, won't until I'm sure. When she does, I'll be respectful. I won't create problems." "Thank you. Can I ask one thing? Does he make you happy? Really happy?" She considered. "He makes me feel safe, valued, heard. I don't know if it's love yet, but it's healthy." "Good. You deserve someone who values you, who treats you the way I should have from the beginning." "You're really okay with this?" "No. Part of me is devastated. Part of me still loves you and probably always will. But a bigger part is genuinely happy you're moving forward, that you're not stuck in the pain I caused." Josie looked at this man she'd once loved, once trusted. He was different now, humbled, genuine, too late for them, but maybe not too late for him. "I don't hate you anymore," she said quietly. "That's more than I deserve. Probably. But hate was exhausting. This is better." Maya ran up, demanding both parents come see the butterfly she'd found. They followed together, not a reunited couple, but co-parents navigating their complicated reality with as much grace as they could manage. Later, driving Maya home, her daughter asked the question that had been building. "Mommy, why don't you and Daddy live together anymore?" Josie had prepared for this. "Daddy made some choices that hurt our family. He wasn't honest. And when trust breaks like that, sometimes people can't live together anymore. But he's better now. He says sorry all the time." "I know, baby, and I'm glad he's working on being better. But some things once broken can't be fixed the same way. So we're building something new. You have 2 homes now, and both parents who love you very much." "Do you still love Daddy?" The dreaded question. "I love that he's your father. I love that he's trying to be better. But the kind of love that makes people married? That's gone, and that's okay. Different kinds of love exist, and this is the kind we have now." Maya processed this. "Like how I love ice cream but also love broccoli? Different loves?" "Exactly like that." Satisfied, Maya went back to singing, leaving Josie to marvel at how children could accept complexity that destroyed adults. At home, Josie tucked Maya into bed, read her favorite story about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. In her own room, Josie looked at old wedding photos she kept in a box. She should probably store them in the attic, but she wasn't ready. Not out of lingering love, but because they were part of her story. Her phone buzzed. Marcus. Hope Maya had a good weekend. Coffee tomorrow? She smiled, typed back confirmation. This new relationship was careful, slow, built on honesty rather than passion. It might be something better, something sustainable. Another text from Ben. Proud of you. You handled today beautifully. Sarah would say the same. Josie's eyes filled with tears. Throughout this nightmare, Ben had been her constant, her ally, her father in every way that mattered. She thought about the woman she'd been a year ago, devastated, consumed by rage and the need for revenge. That woman had destroyed Adam systematically, watching him lose everything with cold satisfaction. But revenge hadn't healed her. The woman she was now had learned that healing required more than destruction, required building something new, required letting go of hate, not because Adam deserved it, but because carrying hate was too heavy. She wasn't who she'd been before Adam's betrayal. That innocent woman was gone forever, but she wasn't the vengeful destroyer either. She was someone new, someone stronger, someone who knew her worth. Someone who could extend grace without weakness, someone who could co-parent without collapsing, someone who could open her heart to new love while maintaining boundaries. Adam had destroyed the woman she was, but in the rubble, she'd built someone better. She'd won, not by destroying him, but by refusing to be destroyed. And that, Josie realized as she turned off the light, was the truest victory of all. The end.